From the speech, We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. How do we solve the problem of gender? Gender is important everywhere in the world, but I want to focus on Nigeria and on Africa in general because it is where I know and because it is where my heart is. And I would like to ask that we begin to dream about and plan for a different world, a fair world, a world of happier men and happier women who can be true to themselves. And this is how to start. We must raise our daughters differently. We must also raise our sons differently. Raising boys. We hurt boys in how we raise them. We tell them that they have to be very masculine. We define masculine in a very small way. Being masculine is like this small cage, and we put boys inside the cage. We teach boys to be afraid of showing fear. We teach boys to be afraid of showing weakness, of other people thinking that they are weak. We teach them to hide their true feelings because they have to be, as we say in Nigeria, a hard man, a real man. In high school in Nigeria, a boy and girl, both of them teenagers, both of them with the same amount of money, would go out and the boy would be expected always to pay, to prove that he is really masculine. What if both boys and girls were taught not to think that being masculine means having more money? What if the attitude was not, the boy has to pay, but rather, if you have more money, you will pay? Raising girls. We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aspire to be successful, but not too successful. Otherwise, the man will not feel powerful. If you are not the breadwinner in your relationship with your man, you have to pretend that you're not, especially in public. The woman making more money will make your man feel less masculine. What if we question this idea? Why should a woman's success be scary to a man? On marriage. Because I am female, I am supposed to aspire to marriage. I am supposed to make my life choices, always thinking that marriage is the most important. Now, marriage can be a good thing. It can be full of joy and love and support. But why do we teach girls to aspire to marriage, and we don't teach boys the same? I know a woman who decided to sell her house because she didn't want to intimidate or scare a man who will want to marry her. I know a single woman in Nigeria who wears a wedding ring so that people will respect her at work. I know young women who are under so much pressure from friends, family, and even from work to get married that they're pushed to make terrible choices. A woman at a certain age who is single, our society teaches her to think as a deep personal failure. And a man, after a certain age, isn't married, we think he hasn't made a decision. There is nothing wrong with the man. There is everything wrong with the woman. The language of marriage is often the language of ownership. We talk about being married like being the property of a man. We use the word respect to mean something a woman shows a man, but not often something a man needs to show a woman. What we teach girls. We teach females that in relationships, compromise is what women do. We raise girls to see each other as competition, not for jobs or careers, which I think can be a good thing, but they are competing for the attention of men. We teach girls that they cannot be sexual beings in the way that boys are. If we have sons, we don't care about our sons' girlfriends. Our sons can have many girlfriends, but we do not want our daughters to have boyfriends. But of course, when the time is right, we want those girls to bring back the perfect man to be their husbands. We act like police with girls. We praise girls for being virgins, but we don't praise boys for being virgins. And it's always made me wonder how exactly this is all supposed to work out. Recently, a young woman was gang raped at a university in Nigeria, and the response of many young Nigerians, both male and female, was this: yes, rape is bad and wrong, but what is a girl doing in a room with 4 boys? These Nigerians have been taught to think of women as naturally guilty of doing something wrong, and they've been taught to think that men do not have any control over their sexual actions. We teach girls shame, close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as being a woman is a bad and guilty thing. And so, girls grow up to be women who cannot say they have sexual desire or ambition for their careers. They grow up to be women who silence themselves. They grow up to be women who cannot say what they truly think. Teaching girls and boys different ideas about gender. Now, imagine how much happier we would be, how much freer if we didn't have the problem of gender expectations. Boys and girls have different body parts, but we also have very different expectations of girls and boys. What if we focus on ability and not gender? What if we think about a child's interest in something and not gender? I know a family who has a son and daughter. Both children are brilliant at home and wonderful children. When the boy is hungry, the parents say to the girl, go cook Indomie for your brother. Now, the girl doesn't like to cook Indomie, but she's a girl. Now, what if the parents from the beginning taught both the boy and the girl to cook? Some people will say, oh, but women have the real power, bottom power. And for non-Nigerians, bottom power is an expression which means something like a woman who uses her sexuality to help and favors from men, to get help and favors from men. But bottom power is not power at all. Bottom power means that a woman simply uses her sexual appeal to use some of the power from men sometimes. The power is never hers. What is a feminist? Many years ago, when my friend Okaluma and I had an argument, he called me a feminist. When I looked up that word in the dictionary that day, this is what it said. Feminist, a person who believes that women and men need to be equal in politics, society, and economics. Feminist, a man or woman who says, yes, there's a problem with gender as it is today, and we must fix it. My own definition of feminist. Reading questions. What does it mean to be masculine? 2. What do families teach girls to do when they are little? 3. What is the author's purpose for writing this speech? Why did she write about this topic? 4. Do you think there is a problem with gender in Boston? Why or why not? Explain the techniques Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie used in her speech to make it persuasive. Support your answer with relevant and specific details from the text.